Hello, everyone. Jody from Bird Dog Off Road Adventures here. Everybody will go around and introduce themselves real quick, and we'll get started.
Go ahead, babe.
Everybody will go around and introduce themselves real quick.
I'm Courtney.
I'm Evan, and we're the Adventures of Rogers and Henderson.
Caleb, Popo Patty, up in Northern California.
And Corbin from Weekends and Waypoints and Las Vegas.
Awesome. Just note for the viewers, Monica and Derek are traveling back from Sand Hollow. They went to Mike's 4x4 recovery off-road games event. So unfortunately, they will not be joining us on this session, but they will be back next time. So they're very sad that they couldn't join us, but we certainly understand why. So we haven't had one of these casts in about almost 3 months now. It's December. Lots been going on. Some of us have been doing events out west. Some of us have been going through personal issues, and some of us have been, just doing whatever. So we'll just do kind of a quick recap with everybody on what everybody's up to and what we look forward to. I guess I can kind of start it out. For me, last 3 months have been mostly doing personal stuff. So big life changes for me, but there's a positive that comes out of that as well. Having the opportunity to move on to bigger and better things, so to speak. Love my time here in Chicago, getting to know people like Evan and Courtney and the Chicagoland Broncos group that we have found on Facebook, and also organizing and being a part of Bronco Palooza. Last year we had 140 cars there, 140 Broncos, I should say. This year they're expecting a lot more. I'm going to try to make it back, but I can't promise anything. But in case anybody doesn't know, I will be moving here in late April into the Phoenix area. Got a job offer out in Phoenix, Arizona. So I'm very excited about that. So now I can not only I don't have to just rely on people like Corbin and Derek and Monica and Caleb to have all the fun out west on the trails. I can start doing it myself. So, and of course we'll have to drag Evan and Courtney's ass out there too, just to get them involved as well. But I've been doing a lot of trail recon researching on some of the trails in Arizona. So I'm really looking forward to that. As far mods wise, the only thing I've really done the last couple months, some of my viewers may know that we did the body brace from Crazy House Customs. They're based out of New Jersey, and it's basically like what's on the Raptor. It's a steel piece that goes from one side of the body to the other. Purpose is to stiffen the body up a little bit, not have as much flex. Not a huge deal probably for most people. Of course, the Raptor has one from the factory, but I can tell a difference. I'm pretty sure it's not just a placebo effect, but I could tell a difference in the way the truck handles now. I've not had a chance to take it off road since I've had that on, as we're getting ready for the move out west. So definitely can't wait to see how that bodes well in the near future. What's coming up? Lots of stuff. We're going to go to Supercell East. So my last week in Illinois will be spent in Tennessee. So last week here before I move, I'd already had time booked off to go down to Supercell East. So I'll be hanging out down there with all the people that are down there. So if you're going down there, please come up and say hi to me. I'll probably be in the Bronco Nation section or the Chicagoland Broncos group. Just depends on how the crowds are this time. It's the world's largest Bronco event. I think they had, I want to say probably 1,300, 1,400 vehicles last year. This year I expect it to be even bigger than that. It's grown by leaps and bounds every year since the 6th gen started. So be fun. So if you're in the area, come down. I want to do a trail run with the Blue Ridge Bronco Club. Kicking Horse is the guy that's in it. I met him down there last year, and they do some cool videos and around the North Carolina area, East Tennessee, North Carolina. Do a lot of trails out there. So we're going to hit a trail that weekend before, and then we'll be probably hitting some more trails while we're down there. My goal is to go to Windrock. Now, I'm not going to get crazy like Evan did and come home with a busted tail lights, but I definitely want to get out and go to Windrock while I still have the chance, because let's face it, once I move to Phoenix, I'm probably not driving all the way back to Tennessee unless it's a family emergency. So, and speaking of tail lights, that's something else I did. I did the Mabit Raptor style tail lights just for cosmetics. My other tail lights had a crack in it, so I was planning on replacing it anyway. So, but yeah, as far as what's coming up, we ordered a Ford Performance FDU front drive unit, in case you know what that is. But the one that we ordered has the 513 gears. So a friend over at Bronkbuster had a special deal here recently where they are now Ford Performance suppliers. So I went through him and got a little deal on that. So now the difference between it and the standard gear. So if you get the Ford Performance FDUs, like say with the 4.7 or one of the other stock gear ratios, it has the housings different. So you'll notice the price jumps up if you get one with the 513 or the 538. And Zach from Dana Spicer, he did a video recently, and he mentioned that because the taller gears require a little bit more space for the gear oil to, I don't know, like for a better term, to circulate to prevent, probably some failure. So the Ford Performance FUs that you buy that have the 513 and the 538 gear ratios are actually share the exact same housing that the Dana Ultimate 44 has, is what he said in his video, which has a little bit more depth, so it allows that oil to circulate better behind it. So that's why I wanted to do that instead. I've already got RCV axles, so I didn't want to spend the money to do the 32 spline deal with the Ultimate 44. I think I'm fine with that. I got the Bronkbuster 2. So I should have a pretty solid front end, and until I get out there and Corbin dares me to do something stupid. So, so hopefully that'll be enough for me for a little while. Also as Evan is a bad influence, and that's well known here in Chicago, but he has a new suspension piece he just got. He'll talk about that here in just a minute. But I don't want to spoil it for him. But let's just say I've ordered the same kit, and it's not here yet. But also be doing that. Of course, we had to get the rear ring and pinion for the 513 gear. I've already been in talk with some shops out in the Phoenix area to try to get something orchestrated, probably about mid to late summer, to get all that stuff put on. So that's kind of the biggest things for me. Oh, and the C brace that the Raptor has in the back between the two where the speakers are at. I did order one of those from Lethal, so I think it actually shipped. Now, whether or not I have time to get it on before I move is a different story, but I'll have to do some ingenuity with those Wave Runner speakers that I have back there, because I'll probably have to ship them somehow so I can use one of the holes it uses to mount is also required for that brace, so I'll probably have to do some finagling, some ingenuity on that. So we'll see how that turns out. I'll definitely do a video of that. The suspension stuff, guys, I know my limits. I don't have the equipment. I don't have the equipment to safely do that where I'm confident I could do it in a timely manner with the Bronco being my only driver. So I will have a shop do that for me. So that's just kind of where I stand as of now. And as far as other events too, Caleb here, Popo Patty, thank you so much for bringing it to my attention that the Overland Expo is in mid-May in Flagstaff, which is about a 2.5-hour drive from Phoenix from what I saw. So I'll definitely be attending that. I'll probably only go for one day, maybe drive up Saturday morning or something like that, because, I'll still be getting settled in. I don't know if I'll have the resources and the PTO to do the whole weekend, but so I'll probably go up either Saturday or Sunday. So I'll definitely coordinate with you, Caleb, to see what days you're going to be up there, to see if I can't catch you up there. Corbin, I don't know if you're going, but same thing. If you're going to be there, I definitely want to catch up with you on that.
Yeah, I might go. I actually went there last year. It was a fun event.
I was going to say, I think you did a video there last year, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I was there like the entire event last year. It was pretty fun.
You got rained on.
Cool area for sure.
Yeah, I've drove to Flagstaff before, but it's been many years ago. Went to the Grand Canyon. Of course, who doesn't do that when they're out there? But it's a very beautiful area, so I'll look forward to that. That'll be very fun. Other than that, it's just kind of the Supercell Colorado's on the radar. Supercell Nevada, which also has maybe a Rubicon Trail in with it. We'll see. That's on the plan. So hopefully that'll get happen as well. And then of course next year, I've got Bronco and I'll be tagging along with some of you guys out there next year, hopefully around Sand Hollow. I don't know if I'll be there as much as Derek and Monica are, but I'll try to be there as much as I can. So, all right. So that's pretty much it from me. Who wants to go next?
You're Bronco first. Go ahead.
Yeah.
My Bronco hasn't had much done to it in the last couple months. We did team up with Form Lighting, and they hooked us up with some headlights for both of our Broncos. So that's been very nice. We went off-roading with 904 Bronco, Alex, and I saw his and loved them. So I was never really a big fan of the Morimoto headlights. Sorry. But I saw the Form headlights and I really liked them. So far so good on ours.
Was the highlight Casey bar before or after the last episode?
Ooh.
It's probably after.
I think it was after.
Yeah, I also added the Casey Highlight Gravity Pro 6 bar, but I think we did cover that in the last one. Because I impressed myself that I remembered the full name.
And in case anybody doesn't realize, Courtney's Bronco is the really super cool one that has the beautiful wrap. So not to get confused, that's not Evans. Evans is.
Some people say it's an ugly wrap.
Well, they don't know what they're talking about.
It might be a matter of opinion. The sticker bomb.
I mean, what did you do to that thing? Oh, well.
Hey,
Can't
different.
make everybody happy. For mine, the only thing that I have a bunch of parts, but first I got the Rock Crawler X Factor rear control arms, and that was with the track bar. And I bought that. I mean, that was midpoint last year, and it finally shipped months later. And then right when I was getting ready to install them, I was waiting for the track bar relocation bracket. They announced their 4-link conversion kit for the rear. So then I pre-ordered that, and that showed up last week. But we got that installed this weekend. So now I have a set of Rock Crawler regular upper control arms and the track bar and relocation bracket if anybody needs one. But so we got that installed this weekend, tested that out last night on the forklift, and it's pretty badass. We're going to go tomorrow, I think, and we're going to test it at Badlands and see how it does on the same obstacles so we can compare camera angles from what it was before to camera angles this time when I know it was lifting a rear tire. So that's about it. I do have some Next Venture Motorsports rock sliders ready to go on. I got to get those powder coated. We have the Next Venture Motorsports belly skids coming. Those haven't arrived yet. Their diff skid, their rear diff cover. And then we have a new roof rack and rooftop tent coming from Badass Tents.
You can see whose Bronco's the priority right now.
I mean, well, how much did that wrap cost?
She's wrapping mine also.
Yeah, that's right. The Hello Kitty wrap. Remember? Yeah.
Yep. But as far as events go, we've been busy planning Bronco Palooza. Lots of donations coming in for that. I'm not going to remember them all off the top of my head, but check out our Bronco Palooza page to see what all is going on there. It's going to be a great event. We have Badlands Bash coming up too.
And that's with Ultra 4. They're doing one of their events there for the event.
And I think we'll have Jeep Jam Bronco Bash here in Belvedere too.
What was the other one? Oh, I think we're going to be at Bronco Stampede in Pigeon Forge in August. So they have the great Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion the 1 week, and then their Bronco version of that is the week before, the week after. So I think we're going to be at that. That's about it.
Until the Rubicon. Anything else?
What else are we going to get for your car? Wheels, tires?
Wheels and tires are probably
37.
Ah.
Maybe.
It just looks a little next to mine.
All right. That's about it for us. We've been pretty low key lately.
How about you boys, Caleb, Corbin?
Corbin's done more than me recently. Yeah, he can go first.
Me? All right. I mean, so trying to think everything.
You've
from the
broken
last
broken
time
things.
Huh?
You've broken things. Everyone wants to hear about stuff breaking.
Yeah, I've broken a lot of things. My Bronco hasn't been doing much except breaking. I think that one of the last major things from last time I was on the podcast was King of the Hammers. Went out there, had a great time. I was out there with Optima Battery all week. We did this new Bronco run. It's called Sparky's Rally. That was a ton of fun. We had a big turnout. I think we had like 30-something Broncos, 30, 40 Broncos total. Everyone got, Optima batteries. It was really cool. Huge shout out to them for making that happen. But yeah, ton of fun. We went and watched the race out there. Did a bunch of fun stuff, and that was a good week for me. Nothing broke other than I ripped the fender flare off and, caused a bunch of scratches, but, just cosmetic for the most part. Shortly after that, I started wheeling just locally, and I had more and more noises start to pop up. And I'm like, this isn't doing so good. Thought it was kind of like CV noises. I was like, man, there's a lot of noises coming from the front end, especially in four-wheel drive. Did a little bit of digging, and turns out the front drive unit was busted. I haven't broken it open yet, so I don't know what it looks like in there, but it's definitely not good in the slightest. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you probably seen I dumped a bunch of oil out of it, and it was just straight metallic mush. So that wasn't good. Had some friends source me a new front drive unit and a new rear end following that very quickly, within a couple days. Because United by Bronco was coming up, what was it, 2 weeks ago now? And so I wanted to make sure I was good to go for that, because my goal is to help lead some trails and, have a good time out there. Got a new front drive unit and a new rear end. So if you don't know, I have an M190 front end, which is the smaller non-Sasquatch front end. So aluminum housing and no locker. That's the front drive unit that blew originally. That's the same one that I sourced and was able to put back in it. It was just a different gear ratio. I went from 337 to 446 gears, I think it was. But besides that, it was about the same. Get out to United by Bronco. I was out there the day prior to United by Bronco, and we were going to do some pre-running because I was going to lead a different trail every day of the event. So within that one day, we went and ran 3 different trails. And it was the last trail that we were running for the day. On the last obstacle, I was bumping up over it because without lockers, you got to do a lot of bumping, which isn't good. But it was slick rock. People that wheeled on slick rock knows that it can either be a lot of grip or no grip. So I was kind of spinning, going up it, and all of a sudden it caught, and the front end just completely sheared. No power, no gears whatsoever. I'm pretty sure every tooth on that thing is sheared off of it. I can grab the drive shaft and literally just spin it. Not good. So Bronco is out. United by Bronco, and I'm still in the figuring out what I'm going to do stage moving forward now. So the Bronco's still broken. In between that, I also found frame cracks, which Popo Patty can tell you all about that, Caleb. So I also have cracking on my upper rear control arm frame mounts, I guess you could call them. So that's also unfortunate. And also, when I got back from United by Bronco, the braking just keeps happening. It's a never-ending, unfortunate events for my Bronco. I've been having a lot of clunks recently, kind of since after King of Hammers is when it started to become more noticeable. Kind of just ignored it and went and did some hunting, and it come to find out that the motor mounts are actually bad, which is pretty surprising considering I feel like nobody else in the world has had motor mount issues with their Broncos yet. So for reference, I have a 2.3 liter. So it has hydraulic motor mounts on both sides. So they're basically like these little canisters that have rubber and hydraulic fluid in them that essentially dampen the load of the engine. Well, one of those were broken, replaced it, found out the other side was also blown. So now, surprisingly, both sides motor mounts are blown. So I don't know if that's going to be an issue moving forward. There's no aftermarket support for them yet. You can get them from Ford. They just take like a week to come in. They're about like $100 each. So that's the new issue. If you do have a 2.3 liter, the passenger side one isn't too bad to take out, but the driver side one requires you to drop your front drive unit. So pretty lengthy install to replace that one. So
Hopefully that's just a fluke. Hopefully that's just a one-time thing.
yeah, to be fair, my Bronco has been airborne a lot, and it has almost every weekend wheeling. So it's, I might be in the, higher usage category, but
Got some frequent flyer miles on it.
yeah,
The
my
FAA's.
Bronco has a pilot's license. So that might have to do with it. I don't know.
You have to get your truck license as a drone.
Yeah.
Well, if you do decide, of course, I'm sure you don't want to wait that long, but here later this summer, if you do decide you want to upgrade to the 210, I may know a guy that has one at a decent price for you. So
Yeah, right.
about a 2 or 3 hour drive.
Before you drive, you might not want that one.
Yeah.
Well, I maybe mine. You can't damage it if you just drive to Starbucks every now and again.
I watched you climb a vertical wall, my friend.
Yeah. Insurance might be watching.
So,
My insurance agent follows me on YouTube, so
Ours too.
yeah. Pretty sure as soon as I'd bring my Bronco anyway, they'd see the stickers all over it and be like, It'll only take a quick search to realize it's not a fluke.
Yeah, something I forgot to mention too, guys. Yesterday or earlier this week, I did something that Derek and Monica did was have the axle tubes weld. I don't know if any of you all have done that yet.
Yeah, I actually just did that on mine also. When I put the new rear end in from the first time I broke, we welded up the rear end also just for that little extra security.
Yeah, hopefully your luck will turn around here soon, man. You play hard, sometimes you have to play hard. So,
Yeah, that's
hopefully.
the way it is. So hopefully after all this, the Bronco will be, up and running, good for the rest of the year.
Absolutely.
well, I don't have a lot of updates. I haven't been buying much stuff for the Bronco. Haven't been doing a lot of installs. Been doing a lot of wheeling, snow wheeling. That's all we got up here right now. So just doing that. Planning some big trips for my Gold Country Bronco group down to 395, hopefully in May. Planning on going to Flagstaff for the Overland Expo. Planning a trip to Canada. Planning a trip to everywhere. Planning as much trips as I can for the spring going into the summer. Bronco's currently down. That's the grill right there. It's broken. So my radiator's punched, my AC condenser's punched, my frame horn's twisted, my bumper's broken, my windshield's broken, and my hood is broken. So that is waiting to go to the shop. The shops out here are very busy right now, apparently. So I won't get seen for another 3 days, and then hopefully they'll have the ability to get parts quickly. We'll see. So I was going to wheel the Jeep, but the Jeep broke. So that's been in my garage. And so I ordered parts for the Jeep, and they arrived, and they were the wrong parts. So ship them back, order them again, hope that the right parts come this time. It's been saga as well. Not as bad as Corbett, but still not fun. And all three of my vehicles are currently down. So it's just that fun times. I do have the focus has been recently for me on my YouTube. I've started brainstorming a bunch of videos and ideas of stuff to talk about. Not as much installs upcoming because I don't have a lot of stuff coming right now. But there is one install I'm going to be doing, the Gatekeeper knuckle lights. I talked to that guy when he initially was thinking about doing it for the Bronco. and I tried to help him find someone. He was too far away from me, but I tried to help him find someone to mock him up. He ended up finding his own person. My guy didn't pan out, unfortunately, but he got him finished, and I ordered a set and have him sit in my garage waiting for the Bronco to be done so I can try those out, see if it's just a gimmick or see if it's actually cool. We'll see. I have a toolkit that I got to talk about because I have some things I want to say about that. Then I've got some videos I'm going to be doing about safety for some odd reason, and some first aid kit stuff, and some talk about. I'm going to start. I have this series right now about like how to steer, like talking about the steering modifications, and so now I'm trying to focus on a different topic, which is some beginner intros to modification, and talking about a lot of controversies head on, and that should garner some conversation. And then some debated topics, and showing my experience with some different stuff and learn from my mistakes in that as well, because I learned a lot with the Jeep and I'm learning more with the Bronco. And then I've been asked by like 8 different people to take him to the Rubicon this year. So I'm either going to have a very busy year of wheeling on the Rubicon, or I'm just not going to go at all. I'm going to say, no, I'm done. too much carnage.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. You're right. And you said like how you're steering your YouTube channel. That's something I think about too. Is that it's something we can probably all address as well. Is that like for me, I'm trying to shift away. Once I get out west, the plan is to try to shift away from the install videos into more of the actual wheeling videos. Because the bad thing about living here in Chicago, and Evan and Courtney can kind of back me up on this, other than Badlands Off-Road Park, you don't have a lot of area to really shoot. Without driving a day. So that's one of the things I want to do once I get out there is kind of shift over more towards actually being on the trail, putting this stuff to use as opposed to, and hopefully not breaking it, but, as opposed to just doing mainly installs, because that's really, in the Chicago area, that's really mostly all we're bound to, because we don't have any off-road parks here locally. And Badlands is awesome. Don't get me wrong. I love it. To me, it's kind of like, I think of it's right there kind of with Windrock almost, except, it's in the little farther north. But it's growing like crazy and it's real popular and it's a great park to go to, but, there's only so many times, that I can go there. So I want to be sure to hit different ones.
You're going to get to, I love off-road parks. I love our local one as well. It's a great spot just to go test stuff out real quick. It's not as big as Badlands, I don't think, but it's still a lot of fun. We have an off-road racetrack, which is pretty cool, with no rules. So, you just go as fast as you want, hit the jumps, have fun, and then go through the rock gardens if you want as well. But yeah, I think your mind's going to be blown when you go to Arizona.
I hope so.
The big thing about out west is we have BLM land and a lot of national forests. That's also a lot of good wheeling, and it's insane the amount of opportunities you have out here for off-roading. You can just throw a rock and you're going to hit an area where you can go explore. And dispersed camping is huge out west too, which is awesome. They're trying to take it away, but we're fighting it slowly.
Yeah, and that's what I've talked. I've networking already with the Arizona Bronco Club, Phoenix Bronco Club, Tucson Bronco Club. And kind of talking to them today is like, okay, by the time I get there, it's going to be almost summer. And it's just hot as hell. So I'm asking them, I was like, well, do you guys even wheel during the summer, or do you just kind of like? Most of them are saying, well, we just go up north, because you go a couple hours up north, and the temperature drops 30 degrees.
Yeah,
like the Flagstaff area and some of those things. So, I might come up and visit you during the middle of the summer, so that way I can have some, won't be overheating on the side.
It gets hot here too. I have grandparents in Phoenix. I go there. I used to go there a lot. It gets hot, like really hot. But here where I live, it gets 110, 115 during the summer too.
Oh, does it? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm sure it gets hot in Vegas where you're at, right, Corbin?
Unbelievably hot. Yeah.
Yeah, I went there Memorial Day weekend one year back in 2007, and it was pretty toasty. So,
Don't worry,
it's so hot my AC can't keep up. Pretty bad.
Right, what you about to say, Evan?
I said, don't worry, it's a dry heat.
Yeah. Dry heat.
It's not like I've never been in the heat. I lived in Dallas for 9 years, and I can remember one summer there, it was over 100 degrees for almost 3 months straight. So, kind of like Phoenix, every house you see almost has a pool. My house had a pool there, and it was like bath water in the middle of the summer. So we'll see what happens. Have you guys upgraded intercoolers yet?
No.
No, it has been something I've been keeping my eye on though. That I've been wanting to do for sure. The EcoBoost thrive with cooler air, so I've built a lot of EcoBoost in the past. I've had like little, RS and sports cars and stuff like that. So, but intercoolers do make a huge difference. So,
yeah, I thought about being out there in that hotter weather, maybe looking into that. Of course, I know there's multiple brands: Mishimoto, Whipple, and CPE, and there's that CV Fabrications, I think.
yeah.
The only thing that probably steer me away from it is because where I have the JCR bumper, my ACC adapter is not up in the grill like most people's is. It's like a bracket that's kind of shifts it forward and up. So where it sets more squarely in that hole in the bumper. And I like it because it works, because back in before I tried the ADD relocation that was up in the grill, and I couldn't get it to work. It was intermittent at best. So I don't want to really kind of mess with that. So I probably stay away from the CV Fabrication. It's probably the best one because it requires you to replace that shutter bracket and then actually have to fool around with the AC. It may not be a big deal. I'd have to probably kind of talk to them, but I was leaning towards more CPE or Mishimoto. But I don't know if either one of y'all had to cross that bridge yet or not, or if you knew anybody that hadn't really had a lot of experience with them.
Yeah. I have a buddy that did a high mount, I think it's Mishimoto high mount one. It's cool. And I mean, he is getting lower temperatures. My concern with that one is now you're kind of stacking your radiator with your intercooler, which is a little bit of a concern. Now you're just pushing hotter air into your radiator that's coming out of your intercooler. But so we'll see. But I mean, he's been having good luck with it so far. So, I mean,
yeah, I think the reason you want to
seems to be working.
Yeah, the only reason I can see getting that is if you wanted to have like a hidden winch or something, maybe.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go through all the trouble with that. I'd probably just replace the stock ones at. So, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of interesting. So, kind of talk about YouTube, since we're all YouTubers, I think there's a lot of misconceptions about people like us and our friend Derek and Monica, maybe, and several others. We're friends with all kinds of people, but I think there's misconceptions that, people think that we make money off this. And the reality is that we don't. At least I don't. I can't speak for everybody else, but, we do this because we like it. Unless you've got like a huge following, you're not really making a lot of money. So I think, the people who are watching this, there's not a lot of people watching it live, but the people that may watch it after the fact, if you do us all a solid, please visit our individual pages, hit the like buttons and hit the subscribe buttons. It doesn't cost anything, but it really helps us with the YouTube algorithm to kind of grow our channels. I know all of us have grown fairly decent amount here in the last 6 months, at least I've been paying attention. So it's, good that we're doing that as more people are getting Broncos. I think a lot more people, and there's a lot more channels out there too, and some really good ones too. I know Evan and I have a friend, Milton, Bareback Broncos. He's, coming along with his pretty well. There's some new people, every once in a while I'll see new people that'll pop up on my feed. It's, thanks to the algorithm, and some of them are really good, so it's definitely a good time to be involved in that thing, but the thing is a lot of people like, you earn money or you get free stuff. Well, I mean, I guess I can't speak for other people, but the free stuff I get for the most part is the little knick-knack stuff. The only big ticket items I think I've gotten given to me were the tube doors, if you want to call that a big ticket item, from Mabit. They're like $400, but most everything either I've had to pay. Some of it I had to pay at a discount, but a lot of stuff I've done I had to pay for myself. But it's just one of those things to where it's like you do it because you like to do it. It's not because you're trying to make a job out of it. At least that's the way I view it. I don't know, but it's just something I think people just sometimes think that oh, you're a big YouTuber. I'm not big. YouTuber, but two, you know, the money that I do get does nowhere near offset the money that I spend out when it comes to gas, hotels, mods. You know, any one of those could wipe that out easily. You know, so it's not like we're not all rolling in dough here, living like celebrities. So, but anyway, I just want to kind of throw that out there. You know, the people that might be watching either live or maybe later on, you know, these small channels like the Us4 and Derek and Monica and a lot of these newer channels, you know, if you like watching their stuff, you like seeing them on trees, it's easy, especially when you're watching from the TV, not to think to hit those buttons, but try to put that in your mind that whenever you're doing that, try to make that a habit. I know I try to do it. You know, every time one of you guys have a new video, I always make sure, because I watch it on the big screen on Apple TV, you know, the TV that's back here behind me right now. Usually you guys have all been on it plenty of times. You know, anytime I see one of your all's videos, even if I don't like it, I'll still hit the like button. You know, even if it's not one of my favorites, I still hit the like button. So, and so I'll usually try to comment, you know, just to, you know, do that. So if we can get more people to do that, not just with us, but, you know, other small channels, you know, it really helps spread the word, get more information out. So that way the people who are brand new, kind of like what you're trying to do, Caleb, with the, you know, some of the videos you're talking about, you know, to kind of help people who aren't as familiar with those of us who have been in this type of hobby for a while. You know, it helps them because they see more resources. They can make better decisions when it comes to recovery gear or intercoolers or rear suspension.
It hurts
stuff.
me in the long run though, because people don't want to send me free stuff.
Yeah, that comes and goes. I mean, to be honest with you, none of the big names, most of the ones I get are from Asia, and some of them I've turned down. But yes, it's not, you know, I had like the awning. I got it at a big discount because I'm on their ambassadors. The winch, I did get the winch for free, but it's not very expensive. And actually, it's a really good winch. I've had several people reach out to me here in the last week or two asking me about it. And I'm like, you know, we recovered. Well, I recovered Evan once with it. And then, and I recovered myself on the Daniel Boone Backcountry Byway. If you guys ever have a chance to go east, by the way, that's probably some of the best wheeling you're going to get east of the Rockies. I mean, some of those trails are just extremely gnarly. I would imagine it's probably a lot like Windrock is, except it's not controlled. You know, there was one spot where myself, the buddy, two guys were with me. We all three had to winch ourselves multiple angles, zigzag, because the mud was so sloppy. We would pull up fully locked, 4-low, and start doing crab walk because we just had no traction. And sometimes you would stop and you'd slide backwards.
Mm-hmm.
So we're having to winch ourselves up to one point, stop, and then try to winch ourselves up to another point, stop, and then to the third point just to get through one obstacle. And it was pretty gnarly. So it's definitely a fun area. If you guys ever happen to venture out that way, Evan and Courtney, if you guys ever want to venture out that way, it's, you know, I know the event we went to, Overland the Red, is based there, but they have several events throughout the year. And tell you what, it can be pretty gnarly if you want to really get in the wood and muddy trails. You know, so I mean, some of that stuff is pretty intense. So I have been to Moab and I've been to Ouray. So I've not really been to Sand Hollow or anywhere in Arizona, so or Nevada. So I definitely look forward to hanging out with you guys more here in the next few months. You know, reaching out to you.
Yep, out west.
A lot less muddy.
Yeah, and of course, Evan, you always have a place to stay.
I mean, I personally hate mud. So.
Yeah.
I would say our mud's worse out here because it's clay. It's like clay mud. It's like very sticky.
Flash floods are no joke.
Yeah. Then you look at that, like underneath, like our vehicles that like been in mud, it's just red. They're just like painted red constantly.
There's some of that in the South. It's not a lot. It's just kind of hit or miss.
It's like sandy down south, at least in Florida where I'm from.
Yeah, Florida's a different story, though. That's not really the South. That's like the Yankees.
Come on.
You know, we don't consider that part of the South in the South, except for maybe the Panhandle.
Yeah.
Now that I've pissed off anybody that watches this from Florida. Yeah, but but like that's horrible, man. It's like it felt like it was grease. I mean, literally no traction whatsoever, none.
How Windrock was too. Very slippery.
I mean, I think a tank would have slid all over the place on that thing. I think you could probably get through that thing with, and that's if you kept your momentum up, is maybe like a buggy with 43s on it or something really light with really large tires, and somebody who just full on balls out sends it. Has the momentum just to skim over it basically. Because I've seen videos of Jeeps trying to go through that with 40s and 43s, and they didn't have any better luck. These built out Jeeps that you see, and yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. I don't like mud.
I don't mind while I'm in it. I just don't like cleaning it off afterwards.
Well, all the parts that it gets to underneath is a nightmare. So I spent a good 40 minutes. Now, we haven't been off-roading in my Bronco in at least a month, and I've washed it 4 or 5 times since then. Before messing with getting the fuel tank out, I spent 40 minutes with a pressure washer, pressure washing the underside of my Bronco, just spraying every angle that I could get this pressure washer into. Went in the top of the fuel tank where all the clips are, were still caked in mud. It was awful.
Yeah, I also hear the horn's very susceptible to mud too.
Yeah, that's cool.
Cutest little horn.
Yeah, congratulations, Evans. Was that your first million views?
First million on one video, and it's at 2 million views now.
Nice. I'm jealous.
Never get a cent for it, but whatever.
Yeah.
The stupidest reel I could have ever made, but apparently people think it's funny. So
Yeah.
My highest viewed reel on Instagram is me swinging in a hammock. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't understand the algorithm. I'm not going to pretend to, but if
Yeah.
lightning strikes, I guess.
I make a post about saving our trails, and it gets like 10 likes and 100 views. I make a post about me swinging in a hammock and just.
Yeah.
I remember that video because I was aggravating Kate. I was like, man, I said, be careful. If your wife's driving, she might decide to slingshot you. You do something to make her mad that morning or something. It's
The
awesome.
trick is to put out controversy, because then people will want to like rail you in the comment section, which drives the algorithm, which helps you out. So
Yeah. Like that's probably like Whistling Diesel. I mean, he does some outlandish shit because he can. I'm not beating the shit out of my truck for that, even though it's just watch.
Let's play a fun game. What's the number one troll comment you guys get on a regular basis?
Oh, I'll give you one I got today. I posted a reel from Kentucky like a day or two ago. I was just driving through like it's like not even a 6-second reel. And it's just driving through like one minute thing. And this guy commented, he's like, well, my stock 1990 Land Rover could do that. And of course, me being a smart ass I am, I replied back. I was like, well, you want a gold star? Or I was like, I would hope that any stock 4-wheel drive could go through that. I said, go do Mountain Springs Road and in that stock Land Rover, and then call me about it and tell me how big of a boy you are. I shouldn't reply to him because it just makes it worse, but I couldn't help myself.
No, reply to him. That'll drive the algorithm.
Yeah.
What about you, Kit?
I'm not the right person to ask, because I just made a video with 1,000 comments all yelling at me.
All right.
So,
How about we exclude that because we all know about that. But how about exclude that? Do you have any other?
Yeah. Prior to that, what was the most consistent troll response that you get on whether it's a short or a full length video? The most common one.
I don't get a lot of consistent ones. I just get the stray guy or gal every once in a while, but it's mainly against for having a Bronco, to be quite honest. They see a new Bronco and they go, oh, it's just an idiot. They think I'm 20, and they go, that's just a young kid with big money that has a YouTube channel and makes money, and that he doesn't know what he's talking about. And that's the common thing I get, but it's not super common, I'd say. But
Yeah, I guess they probably don't take the time to realize that's the thing too. People don't watch your earlier videos. At least I found it in my experience to really get to know you before making those dumbass comments. Because anybody that watches your channel is going to know that you've been wheeling with Jeeps. You know, you got the paddy wagon, and you know,
Or the fact that, like, I mean, I think all of us here, at least, my wheeling experience didn't start with the Bronco. That's when I started filming because my friends are like, "Hey, man, you should film what you do." I'm like, "Okay." I didn't even have Instagram. Like, I didn't really use Instagram at all. So I like all the Jeep stuff from way back, all the Rubicon trips, Honduras. Like, none of that's on video.
yeah.
What about you, Corbin?
It's the consistent. You spent your money on that, but you didn't get this. Like, it's always something of that nature. It's like you broke this, but you couldn't buy that. Like, well, you did this, but you didn't do that. Like, those comments are just like unbelievable. Like every video, every YouTube video, or the excuses ones can be pretty trolly too. Like, just like recently on one of the UBB videos is like when I said like my Bronco is broken, so I'm just gonna like tag along with people. It was like, sure enough, somebody's coming like, nice excuse not to, go out and wheel your own stuff to break it. Like, what do you mean, man? Like, like you gonna pay to fix it? Like,
Right. So this
it's
one
already broken.
we started getting we went wheeling in the snow, and I hadn't noticed this comment before. I mean, maybe I just missed them, but it's a super common occurrence. Everybody will say, "You should air down. Air down. Why didn't you air down?" Bro, I'm at 12 psi. How much lower do you want me to go?
8.
Yeah.
You need to be at 8.
I'm like, well, and so it's like a video where you make the obstacle, right? And then they still comment, "You should have aired down." Like, I didn't even slip. Why do I need to? I mean, that's just been the most common one recently. And we had the video we did with the guy with the ZR2, and there are comments on that. Why didn't you air down? I'm like, we were both at 12 psi. Like, we didn't miss anything. What's the problem? But that's the number one troll comment we've been getting lately is you need to air down.
Why did you won't air? You didn't air down. I don't understand that though. Why would they just assume you didn't air down?
I think because of how cold it was, the tires were stiff and they weren't flexing as much as they normally would. So maybe it was deceiving, but he was aired down.
And what rating is your tires, Evan? D or E or? Because if the stiffer the sidewall, the less it flex. Even if you air down, it flexes less or something like that.
You have to air down more for it to flex as much. C is the one that will flex better, smoother ride. D is what.
Some videos you can see that flex more, but typically it's when it's warmer out.
Yeah,
and the cold, like she said, definitely affects it too.
Yeah.
I'm like, trust me, they're aired down. It took me 20 minutes to get them from 55 down to 12.
No.
You get that
55.
Apex.
Yeah, I run at 55.
That's crazy. I mean, I
Now
run
you're gonna
40.
get the comments. Now you're gonna get the comments saying why you aired up so much.
That's how I get 20 miles to the gallon.
I would love to hear Derek and Monica answer that question, though. I bet he gets some really, because you just gotta love Derek's personality. He has the great personality for this. He draws you in. He's funny, and of course, Monica's a great compliment to him. I envy you because I don't have that, but I bet he gets. I haven't looked at a lot of his comment sections. I bet he gets a ton of trouble.
I can say this. I think you'll appreciate me saying this too, because I'm not. I read one of his troll comments on his latest video, and I thought it was interesting. So I followed up on that comment and went to what he was talking about, and it was hilarious. This is with all respect to Derek, because it's actually, I think it's a compliment. The guy was like, he's just pretending to be Vic Grip, or whoever that YouTuber is, Vice Grip Garage, Derek from Vice Grip Garage. I was like, who's that? So I looked up Derek from Vice, and they're the same. I was like, what? I thought it was really funny. They're like the same personality. It was really cool.
Now we got
I found his twin.
There you go. Doppelganger. I know the funniest one I saw was Justin McBride. He got some shit from somebody who was mad at him because he went to the Bronco. Of course, I know he had a deal with Ford. He was one of their ambassadors, but they made some snide comment to him saying, "I'm leaving. I'm subscribing." And his reply, which was very short to the point, was like, "It's not an airport. You don't no need to announce your departure." And just left it at that. And I like that's the way to respond to that shit. Just basically like, okay, if you don't want to subscribe, by all means, go for it. Don't subscribe. Because you're that. If you're going to unsubscribe somebody for something that petty, I mean, that's just ridiculous.
It doesn't bug me. In the end, it helps the algorithm, and most of the people aren't the ones that are talking like, just don't let it get to you and just keep going. You do you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Corbin, real quick question. So I know your front end's the M190. Is the back end, so the non-Sasquatch rear ends, are they still a 220 or are they something else?
Yeah, they're all the same. It's whether or not they just have a locker or not.
Okay.
And then also the non-locker rear ends are welded, like the rings are welded. So it's
rear
like,
ends, okay.
Replace the gear ratio. But
I was just going to say, if worse come to worse, I could probably sell you that real cheap that stock one out of mine once they replace it. But I didn't know if you could use this, if it would be conducive to do that with the same rear you already have, because obviously it's a 4.7 ring and pinion. You'd have to either re-gear the stock front one or the rear one. One of the two.
Yeah, which I'm probably going to be doing at this point. I'm kind of tired of braking. So we might just be doing a one and done kind of thing here soon. So we'll see.
That burned out Bronco is still in that tow yard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
but was it a Sasquatch or Badlands?
It was definitely at least a Sasquatch.
Yeah, but I think it was in the picture you sent me. But it looked rough.
It was burnt out. The fire started in the engine bay on the passenger side, it looked like, and just burnt the whole thing out.
I just had an idea. You could be like one of those ambulance chasing lawyers, except you're just looking for Broncos that are in cars.
Going like every yard.
Yeah.
Chaser.
Yeah.
So you want to use that rear end? You need that rear end after you're done with it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you replace the 190 so many times, you're going to be at the cost of a 210 front anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was when I replaced this one, I got a really good deal. So it was just like, I'm just going to throw it in, simple, done easy. It's kind of a pain to do a 190 to, well, it's not a pain, but if you're going from a 190 to a 210 front end, the 190s have a front axle disconnect, and the 210s don't. So if you don't turn that off, the Bronco will freak out like quite a bit. So you have to get the ProCal tool, which is like another $800 on top of everything else you need to buy, because it's different CVs and it's a different front drive shaft. So you have to buy CVs, the front diff, a drive shaft, and the ProCal tool just to do the swap. So it's quite a bit. Everyone and their mother when I first broke was like, just throw an M210 in. It's like, well,
FDRS,
all this other stuff that goes into that also that jacks the price way more than what it seems.
Yeah, I saw
with FDRS and do the little computer wizardry.
Huh?
Find a friend with FDRS, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, they might work, but I don't know.
Now you're getting close to the cost of a solid Dana front 60.
Yeah, right. And it's just like when you start adding it all up, it's like, man, like, what do I do? But
yeah, I think Brockbuster I know the tuners are coming down a little bit, because I think he had his, because he was selling it with the Haas 3.0. I think he had it down to like 500 or something.
I just scooped one up for 600.
Yeah, I was about to say, because I know when I got mine, I got a discount because I bought it when I bought the hardtop, and I think mine was still like $600, which they basically matched the lowest they could find on the internet at that time. That's been well over a year ago, just to give me a little bit of a discount. They didn't take a loss on it, but that's about as deep as I've seen one at that moment.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool to see someone like come up with some kind of like legit swap, like a front drive unit, like a front drive unit out of something that's already super strong. Like, I don't know, just throwing like maybe like an F-150 front drive unit, and then somebody sells like a bracket kit that makes it fit or something, and then you'd have, obviously the CVs would probably be different, but I don't know. I feel like there just got to be something besides Ford or Dana, like that's it. That's the only two options.
Spider Track.
Huh?
Spider Track's a welded independent front unit. It'd be centered though, but you'd have to redo the transfer case. But like they run on the crazy cars.
Yeah.
And then you got to do computer work somehow, make it talk.
Well, the
M210s, they don't. What do you mean talk? I mean the front drive units on like the Sasquatch, there's no front axle disconnect or anything. There's literally no wires that plug into them other than the locker.
If you do that Spider Track center housing though with the whole setup, wouldn't you have to redo a lot of the ABS and hubs and all that with the axles? Unless you find a custom.
Yeah, if you're going all the way out to the like the spindles, then like the hubs. Because then your wheels sensors, you might have to figure out.
Hopefully, you could probably find somebody that's just swapped over to the Ulta 44 or the Dana 60 float.
Yeah.
Maybe you can find somebody out there, because I know there's people that have done that. Me personally, I think the Dana 60 is a little overkill. Unless you're just like really, really hardcore. I'm going the route that Evan's doing, with the triangulated truss system. Probably put some chromoly axle shafts in it, and with the truss and that, and call it a day. But if you can find somebody upgraded to a Dana 60 from a Sasquatch, that'd be great, because hopefully, they could get a decent deal on one, or find, like you said, or find a salvage one. It's just, the thing is I don't think there's that many salvage parts out there, and the ones that are out there, they go quick.
Yeah, so a lot of the ones that are like that are still somewhat relatively decent, they're just being auctioned off like as salvage titles. So like they're not parting them out. So there's no like go to a scrapyard and pull the parts off of it. They're so new and still valuable that people are just like, when these auction yards are getting them, they're just auctioning them back off to like the highest bidder. That's like an entire thing. So
I wonder if
like scrap Broncos really, and if there is, like, they're pretty hard to come by.
I wonder if that one that Derek and them got, was it last year when Bronco Man 6 tore his front end out at United by Bronco trying to do the shoot? Yeah. I know they bought a salvage Bronco to take that rear end, the front end out of it. I wonder if they still have. I doubt they still have it, but if they had, I wonder if it had a good rear end in it. If they hadn't already sold it to somebody, maybe you can reach out to Derek and see if he knows whatever happened to that rear end out of that one. They may have. Like I said, it's probably already gone, because it's been over a year ago, I think, or about a year ago. But I think they bought the whole truck. Yeah, like you said, they had to buy the whole truck or something, just so he could swap out the FDR or FDU. FDU.
The most common salvage ones we see, they're sold whole unit, but there are the flood ones from the hurricanes down in the Gulf. And I mean, they're full. You could tell that they were up to their roof line in water, and they're still selling for $30,000.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah, somebody here being needy. So,
oh.
All right, guys. Well, we've been here for about an hour. You guys got anything else you want to talk about, or should we call it night?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll hopefully have another podcast. I know 2 weeks from today is Easter, so we'll probably skip that week. Right now, we're going to shoot for the Sunday night after that. Maybe have a special guest with us, which you're working on that as well. So if you're watching this, whether it's live or down afterwards, be sure and make a note to hit that alert button, because since we don't have a necessarily consistent pattern, because we all have lives outside of YouTube, if you hit that alert button, anytime we do something, it will give you a notification prior, so that way you won't miss anything, or at least that you to watch it after the fact. So if you guys would do that, please also hit that like and subscribe button on this video, and subscribe to every one of our channels. If you wouldn't mind, please, do us a huge favor. We'd all really appreciate it. And don't forget about our friend Bronco. he's not with us tonight, but him and Monica, I'm sure they'd appreciate it as well. So if nothing else for anybody, we'll say goodnight.
Have a good
Thank
night.
Later, everyone.